food friends. A lot of you guys have been asking me about how you get more money in your business, whether it be raising money, whether it be using Kickstarter, Indiegogo, getting financing. I know it's a really big struggle point for everyone because you're looking to expand and grow. So I'm really, really excited about this month's food friend, Khyriesten Ross, who's coming in to talk to you guys all about how to raise money successfully on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Khyriesten's been doing this since 2015. She has helped companies raise lots of money on these platforms, multiple millions of dollars that have been raised on these platforms thanks to Khyriesten. So Khyriesten, welcome.
Hey, thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background, and then I will go on and ask you some of the pressing questions that I know are coming from the community.
Amazing. First off, thank you. I'm so excited that when you asked me to be a part of this group, super cool. So I hope to deliver whatnot. So yeah, as Ainsley said, I've been in this since 2015 full time. I got my start crowdfunding right when I actually didn't know what Kickstarter was, if you could believe that. So I'll just tell like quick story just to build some, I guess, credibility and then fill in what I've done since then. So in 2015, I was a lost consultant trying to figure out who my niche was, who I would serve. And I ultimately knew I loved working with small business owners and helping them grow. But that can mean so many different things. And at the time I did a 2-year work visa in the UK and ended up running out of savings and having to move back to Toronto. Still lost and confused. 9 days into literally 9 days back from moving back from the UK, I went to my first networking event in the city and ended up meeting the founder of my first crowdfunding campaign. But it wasn't like a locked-in deal at that point. He was a guy who pitched me what I thought sounded really dumb at the time. But then as I started to see the reaction other people got, I was like, maybe there's something to this weight loss device. So ended up a couple months later, he's like, hey, like, I know that you play around on the digital side. I know nothing about online. Do you want to partner up and like maybe try to bring this thing to market through Kickstarter? And I was like, I don't really understand the concept, but sure, let's just like dive in. So we spent about 2.5 months preparing for our first, we actually went to Indiegogo for this first crowdfunding campaign, and we made all the mistakes in the book and ended up doing that first campaign. As you'll learn, like you need to set a financial target on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So our goal was to raise $50,000, and we ended up raising only $17,000 after that first Indiegogo campaign, which was a disaster because we actually needed like $250,000 or more to be able to actually deliver this product. So made all the mistakes in the book, fell on our faces. And we knew at that point that one of two things went wrong. Either the product sucked or the strategy and execution sucked. And it turned out after we did some digging into what went wrong, it definitely was not the product. It was our messaging. It was how we actually executed the campaign. So we thought, okay, what if we have nothing to lose? We need some capital. So we will relaunch it. So we ended up relaunching it about 3 months later, this time following the Kickstarter playbook. And we did that second campaign, went from $17,000 failure to a $600,000 overnight success story, as they say.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge
like massive. Yeah. Yeah, massive. And at the time, I just chalked it up as a fluke. Like the thing just went viral, whatever, and on with my life. Fast track a month, I guess, the founder gets an opportunity to speak in front of one of the largest meetup groups in Toronto about the failure turn success story. And he was like, he didn't want to do it. So he's like, Khyriesten, you're going to do this talk. I'm like, I don't want to speak in front of people. It's your product, imposter syndrome, whatever. So anyway, I gave this talk. I talked about what we did differently and ended up landing my second client. That next campaign did about $350,000. And then I got another client. It was another 340 some. And it just kept going and going and going with multiple 6-figure launches. At that point, I saw it as a sign from whatever to just niche and go all in on the Kickstarter thing. And now here I am. And this is what I do full time. I help creators of physical products in various, like all sorts of niches and verticals, bring different products to market using the Kickstarter launch model. So.
Got it. So no longer a fluke. You realize that.
Yep. No longer a fluke. There's something to the madness. Yeah.
So you mentioned that once you guys did a deep dive, you started to realize there were some things that didn't go wrong. When you guys did that deep dive, and now with all the campaigns that you've launched, what are some of those like big red flags of like do not do that is not going to help you reach that goal? Like what are some of those lessons you had?
There's so many things, but there are two main ones. The first one is the classic mistake that most people make when you kickstart or even do any product launch. So what I say applies to an Amazon launch, it applies to Kickstarter, applies to even a Shopify launch. So Kickstarter, Indiegogo specifically, have millions of users and customers or backers, that those campaigns call their customers, that go on the website every single month. So the last report I pulled on Kickstarter, they had about 45 million hits in 6 months. So they get a lot of traffic. And because of that, because of the traffic and the volume that they get, a lot of creators or people that want to launch products on their site, they go on thinking all they have to do is launch their product and they're suddenly going to have a 6-figure campaign. Right? Because it's that easy, because Kickstarter, but that's a classic mistake, is assuming that because they get all this traffic, you're going to be successful. So the key to success is understanding how Kickstarter and Indiegogo work, in that they are a business. So they take 5% for every dollar you raise on their platform, which means they are incentivized to help campaigns that are making money continue to make money.
Right.
So the key message there is already making money, right? So Kickstarter and Indiegogo have an algorithm that help them determine what are popular campaigns so that they can essentially boost those campaigns and get them additional traction and visibility on the site. When that happens, then your campaign goes viral and you start to get a surplus of backers coming from the Indiegogo community, right? So how do you actually kickstart your own Kickstarter campaign? How do you get picked up by the algorithm? That comes down to having an audience of people ready to support your campaign as soon as you go live. So by support, what I mean is you have a target audience of people that have said, I really love your product and I want to pre-order it, because those pre-order sales go towards helping you hit your goal.
Got it. So would you run like an awareness campaign before you even go live?
100%.
Got it.
Yeah. So the big thing that we changed is we spent about 2 to 3 months building up a targeted audience of people, that keyword targeted audience of people that were excited to buy your product on the first day.
Got it. Yeah, that's huge. And I feel like that is something that people just aren't necessarily thinking of. We're thinking, oh, there's a big audience, everyone wants to go there. And yeah, there's
a lot of people just don't even know how to do it. Like I was just on a coaching call with our group program, and this woman, like, she has an amazing product, but she does not know how to actually go out to her network and really start to build up that awareness, because she's never had to do sales before. Right. And what I mean sales is like enrolling someone in wanting to be excited about your product. Right. So yeah.
So those are some of the key things that people should be aware of. What about types of products that are on there? Is there a specific type of food and bev product that you see do well? Like if I just go on with a generic tea, is there a way to still make that pop, or what are your thoughts on that?
So the one kind of food that I wouldn't advise doing, it's not really even a food, supplements do not do well on crowdfunding campaigns. Kickstarter won't let you put supplements on, and Indiegogo, it's just, you're going to raise like 5,000 to 15,000 if you're lucky. just with ingestibles, there's just, it's hard to stand out because it's such a white labeled industry, right?
Right.
The foods I see do the best with Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaigns. I see every kind of product do well on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. The ones that are going to do the best are not generic. So a lot of what you and I talked about on the podcast episode a few days ago is like having something with a defined niche, having something that speaks exactly to the target customer and solves a need in the market that isn't being addressed. Then if you have something different and unique and you mesh that with the right target audience, you have a hit campaign. If you put out a generic product, why you have to wonder why someone is going to back your crowdfunding campaign and have to wait 2 to 3 months for your product when they can get the identical thing at the grocery store. So you want to go for different, you want to go for solves a very unique problem in the market, and you don't want to go generic. And absolutely building up, and this is what you talk about a lot, is like having a really defined story around you, the founding team, and what makes your brand unique. Those are the ones that are going to grab and sell based on emotion and because it's different, as opposed to, again, generic.
Right. So really, it's like the core elements of branding and marketing really coming to life within this platform. Like nothing really changes, right?
Yeah, because the whole point of what brings people back to Kickstarter is they love to support new innovations that are not readily available on the market yet. So you're going to go to Kickstarter and Indiegogo and see a lot of the new trends that are popping up that haven't even been established in retail. So backers, customers like to go there just to see what is new and hot and available, right? It's not just for like new tech, it's like new food trends that are not necessarily available yet, and like really supporting that founder story.
Yeah, you mentioned founder story a lot. How, I don't know, in your opinion, like how important is being able to authentically share that story and how that relates to like you actually meeting and exceeding your goal?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, I think Indiegogo shared a stat. I could be totally off on this, but Indiegogo campaigns that have the founder in the video raise 30% more.
Wow.
So I think it's a significant amount more that, and here's why. So the founder, I think, always should be involved unless if they have like a reason that they just cannot be involved, or spokesperson or whatever. But ultimately the story connects the customer to your brand.
Yeah.
Right. It gives you credibility. So one of my favorite case studies is Jamstack, which is a electric guitar amplifier. If you picture an electric guitar, it is a amp that connects. It's like a little portable speaker that connects to the base of the guitar so you can play it anywhere. And this could have just been another piece of guitar hardware tech. But what gave it so much of an amazing community of guitar players is because Chris created the Jamstack to solve a problem in his own life. So all throughout the branding, the story, the video, it was 4 years ago, I got the idea for Jamstack when I was just frankly frustrated when I couldn't play electric guitar easily by going to my friend's house. So then I got this idea, and he tells the story, ultimately how he created a solution to his own problem. And that just gives its credibility. People connect with the story. It's completely authentic. And it's like, it also humanizes the founder because he's one of his community, right? And I think you see that a lot. I worked with a superfoods company in the UK where Julianne, she created Creative Nature because she couldn't eat anything. Like, she was allergic to everything. So she created a superfood bar and line of food that she was able to have. And that became a business. And she got a lot of press because of her story. She got a lot of customer loyalty because of that. And it really truly stands out from like other local supermarket brands, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
it makes it so you're just like standing out. You have a reason to be different because anyone can launch more or less the same product.
But your story makes you different. So if you can use that, it's powerful, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Assuming it's relevant, but
right, yeah. We've touched on this a little bit, but if you were to say like top 3 things to do like right off the bat to make sure that you're gonna win
Yeah.
with your online raising, like what do you think those top 3 things are that people should do?
Yeah. First one, validate your product. Okay. Not only making sure, so step one is making sure that people are going to actually buy your product, but second, figure out who is going to buy that and make sure that you clearly define what makes your product different from what is out there and make sure that there's a need for that. So like definitely like validating that. The second is get to know your customer as much as humanly possible. The more you know your customer, the better you're able to speak to them, speak their language, get to understand their concerns. You'll be able to write better sales copy, video, all that, because you totally know what the customer needs to hear and understand about your product in order for you to know not only what to launch, but what else to launch in the future, right? And the third is once you have the proven product and you know who your person is, you have got to create a community of people specifically interested in your product that are going to buy on that first day. And I guess so part 3 is really orchestrating a good pre-launch campaign around building a community / tribe for your product.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Building on that real quick. How long should someone realistically expect from idea, like I want to put my product on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, to being able to have a successful launch? What does that timeline typically look like?
Yeah, like it completely depends on the goal, but typically I recommend 3 to 6 months.
Got it.
But really, the second you know that you're serious about this, you should be advocating and setting a date not too far in the future. However, in saying that, you also want to make sure you can deliver product within a short time frame, just because buyers don't want to wait 9 months for product, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I would say between 3 to 6 months, because that's going to give you a chance to validate, talk about it, but it's not long enough that people will forget about you, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. All right. One more question and then
cool.
And then yeah, if there's anything else that I've missed that you feel like everyone should know about, let me know. But you're in this all the time. You're helping companies all the time with their campaigns. Are there any major shifts happening right now that you think people should be aware of, be considering if they're thinking about going on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, anything that's really changing?
Yeah. So I'm not sure about shifts, but just I think people come in with unrealistic expectations because Kickstarter and Indiegogo are typically tech. You go there and you typically only hear about Kickstarter, Indiegogo campaigns that do multiple 6 figures or multiple millions. So I see a lot of founders come in. I'm not trying to like crush dreams here, but I see a lot of founders come in with very unrealistic expectations of what their product can raise. So I think it's good to know that your food product, typically food does between 15 to 60,000. Depending on a few things. One thing so it's good to have a lower expectations, and it's not because your product sucks, it's just the niche and what Kickstarter allows. So, you know, you're going to do 15 to 60-ish is what I've seen. Know that the bigger the campaign, it's a marketing game. Right. So very, very, very few campaigns are the unicorn where they just go viral and raise a bunch of money without a bunch of ad spend behind it. So just know that if you're looking at hitting those higher numbers, it is all in, because some people have put up thousands of dollars worth of ad spend, which is not necessarily recommended. So one big shift that's changed for me is when I started managing campaigns and advising, I really thought bigger was better. But what happens when you go bigger straight out of the gate with your first product is you potentially have hundreds or thousands of customers you need to fulfill to when you have never fulfilled something before. Supply chain is not figured out. You're going to run into a lot more hiccups and problems the bigger the raise. So I feel that if you are serious about doing a Kickstarter campaign, I think it's safer to go just shoot for a smaller campaign to start, because it's going to be easier to fulfill. You're going to prove the model of be able to use Kickstarter as a launch platform, and then you can build on your success from there. But I would just say, like, don't follow the me too of I got to shoot for a 6-figure campaign, because I think you'll be super disappointed, because that's just how food products perform. And secondly, I think you're in a better position. And now, like, I mostly serve people that are doing smaller campaigns, because I think longer term you will be successful. So
yeah, and thanks for sharing that, because I know that not everyone, but a lot of people want their business obviously to be as big as it can be.
Yeah.
We're creating these food or beverage products because you honestly think that it is like the best thing since sliced bread. But there does need to be some like truth behind that, and allowing the market to help you understand if there really is as big as a need as you might think, and don't let it defeat you also. So yeah, thanks for just like being really honest and transparent with that as well, so that if someone is raising 15, they're not like, oh, this is a failure, it's not going to work.
It's not, because you got 450 customers out of nowhere at $15,000 and you're sad about that, like,
Yes.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah, which is like, that's amazing. So just like, it's not shoot low, it's just you're in a better position if you do a smaller raise, if you can, and assuming that's like financially you can do that, right? So
got it. Yeah. Anything that I missed that you think the audience should know about Kickstarter, Indiegogo?
Yeah. Regardless of if you're doing a Kickstarter campaign or not, if you are serious about online, many people want to go straight to Amazon versus their own website. So I love Amazon, and I think it should absolutely be a sales channel for you. But I personally wouldn't launch on Amazon first if you are serious about building up a brand for yourself. Because on Amazon, you're competing against a bunch of other white label products that it's basically a price war. So I recommend that you do launch either on a Kickstarter campaign or even your own website, build up your brand, make sure you have an email list going. And then once you built that up a little bit, then do multi-channel marketing by going to Amazon, because then you've built up a premium brand at a premium price, and then it's just people know you. So just, I wouldn't hop straight over to Amazon, because frankly, you don't have, Amazon owns everything. They own your customer data. So if you're serious about building something online that you own, definitely either launch on your site or launch on Kickstarter, because that's another, I get a lot of Amazon sellers that when they do create a proprietary product, they understand the value of going to Kickstarter, because that's also a great way to continue, or really to start building a brand for themselves.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Amazon is awesome, but it's a and people, they don't have a reason to necessarily buy you versus your competitor who's $1 less if you haven't built up that brand, right?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, people buy people. So yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, I think that's it for now.
Cool. Where can people find out more about you? I know you offer a lot for the community with helping them grow their brand on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So where can they find you?
Yeah, so the best one spot to find me online is Khyriesten.com. My name is impossible to spell, so it's KHIERSTYN.com. There I also have a podcast specifically on crowdfunding and e-commerce. And so everything you need to contact me is on there.
Cool. And I will put that link below. Side note, was so impressed. I was like looking at your website and I was like, she has Khyriesten.com. Who has their first name.com? You're so lucky. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's surprised it was only like $8.
That's good. Yeah, you're holding on to
that
one forever.
Yeah, because like no one has it, but I will be a one name brand. So that's it. The world has to learn to spell my name. So that's my next like big hurdle, So
I'll help you with that.
Yeah. Yes. Amazing.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Khyriesten.
Take care, guys. Thanks for listening.